Bulavanakana, good morning, Your Excellency. Yesterday, Fiji concluded our fifth high-level political dialogue with the European Union. Again, let me express our condolences to families in Europe who are contending with a new wave of COVID-19 outbreaks, as well as our admiration of Europe's health professionals on the front lines of containing this virus. I would also like to, ladies and gentlemen, take this opportunity to give our condolences to the friends and family of His Excellency Julian Wilson, the immediate former head of the delegation of the European Union for the Pacific, who passed away only a few days ago. As you may recall, he was in Fiji recently. For the past 2 days, our delegations have hashed out where our partnership can strengthen and how it can improve. Fiji's overriding focus entering into this dialogue was how the Fiji-EU partnership with the EU can support an innovative and inclusive recovery from the economic fallout of COVID-19 pandemic, which, as we know, is devastating small state economies worst of all. Our delegations reviewed Team Europe's COVID-19 support to the region, which we appreciate. Though we made it clear that the existing support available to small developing states falls well short of what is necessary to ensure we are part and parcel of the global recovery. We express the urgency of the European Union's generous support towards the next round of IDA financing through the World Bank, a message we will soon carry to all our counterparts in the developed world. Of course, we also urge the EU to support the small states' call that a viable vaccine, once available, is treated as a global social good. Given Fiji's COVID-contained status, we also requested that the EU exempt European travellers returning from Fiji from self-isolating and quarantining upon their return to the EU. A recognition the United Kingdom has already granted Fiji. We covered a few outstanding issues related to trade relations, tax governance, and visa facilitation. On the trade front, we urged the EU to grant Fiji the policy space to incentivize the growth of COVID-proof industries such as in the ICT sector. We believe it is unfortunate that small island nations in and outside of the Pacific, and including in the Caribbean and Indian Ocean, have been subjected quite unfairly to the EU's non-cooperative tax jurisdictions, particularly now as we face the worst economic crisis many of us have endured. Among other areas for strategic cooperation, we spoke on oceans governance, including sustainable fisheries, in our joint work to fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, as well as cooperating on broader peace and security issues. While we don't have much substantive progress to report from this dialogue, we plan to keep these items at the top of our bilateral agenda. Fiji is hopeful that a more nuanced partnership with the EU can show, by example, the good and equitable and inclusive North-South cooperation that can be achieved. There is a more comprehensive joint release which will cover the more technical aspects of our dialogue, which you will of course receive. I would like to particularly thank the EU and of course in particular the Ambassador Sujiro Singh for helping facilitate the dialogue we shared. And thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney-General, Permanent Secretary, representatives of the Fijian government, members of the media, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. Let me just say at the outset that we are extremely grateful for the participants in the joint political dialogue to have agreed to dedicate that meeting to the memory of my immediate predecessor, His Excellency Julian Wilson, who untimely passed away on the very day we opened our work on the high-level political dialogue. Two more preliminary remarks. It was the first time Fiji and the European Union met virtually. This high-level political dialogue, the fifth edition, was supposed to take place here in Fiji, but because of the current circumstances, it was not possible, to the regret of colleagues in Brussels, to travel to the Pacific to have a physical meeting. Nonetheless, I think this new way of doing things worked well in our case, and I'm afraid that unfortunately we will have to carry out more of these virtual consultations because, as you mentioned, Honorable Attorney General, the situation on the COVID front in Europe is not improving, which shined an even brighter light on the great achievements of Fiji in containing COVID-19. Fiji is indeed one of the few countries in the world which has reached this status of a normal life for all of us. And I think people tend to forget that the rest of the world has to wear masks, cannot go out, have to stay home, have to work remotely. Here in Fiji, thanks to the good efforts and performance of the Fijian government, we can live a normal life. The other preliminary remark I wanted to make is we foresaw an engagement with Fiji at the level of our relationship, at the highest possible political level. And even though it had to be organized in parallel to our work on the high-level political dialogue, we managed to organize a phone call between the Honorable Prime Minister of Fiji, retired Joseph Oinge-Bainimarama, and the High Representative and Vice President of the European Commission for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Joseph Borrell. I think this is the first time there was a contact at that level with the new leadership of the European Commission, which shows, number one, the great importance the European Union attaches to the Pacific. Number two, the recognition of the leadership of Fiji in this part of the world and on many other issues on the global stage. And number three, our willingness to keep strengthening our partnership and making progress on the issues where we still have ongoing discussion. Turning to the high-level political dialogue itself, I think the Honorable Attorney-General has indicated the main achievements on the substance. My main message would be that we have now reached a level of maturity in our relationship between the European Union and Fiji. This was our fifth high-level political dialogue, which allows us to broaden and deepen our partnership beyond the traditional issues of development cooperation. It doesn't mean that they become secondary. We will still work on sustainable development, climate, and oceans, but we're now ready to work on other issues and put more emphasis on business, economy, and trade, and on defense and security issues. Thank you very much.